Okay, boys and girls, we're getting ready to start our 514-mile hike along the Washington State portion of the Pacific Crest Trail today. 514 miles from the Bridge of the Gods all the way up to Manning Park, British Columbia. So what's the plan for today, honey?
Hike until we drop.
Hike until we drop. There's always a good plan. For you people that are planning your hike, just remember that word of wisdom. Just hike until you drop and then stop. All right, we'll see how far we go.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to walk down the left side here.
We're going to start down the left side. I don't know how far down we're going to need to go. Okay, we're going to take our life into our hands now and try to cross the road here.
I'm sorry?
We're going to take our life into our hands now and try to cross the road here at the Bridge of the Gods. Try to keep from getting run over. Beautiful morning. The first steps of a 514-mile hike. And so here we are at the junction of the Bonneville Trail Junction. And the sign right here says, of course, Bridge of the Gods is where we started, which is 1.7 miles back that way. We're headed up to Trout Lake, 2.1, and Three Corner Rock is 13.6 miles ahead on the PCT. Crossing our seasonal stream up here about 3 miles or so. Pass on the bridge. And you can see the water is flowing very nicely, which is a good indicator for us because it's nice to have these seasonal streams flowing like this. It means that they won't have as much of a problem, and we don't have that much, but of having to carry water over long distances. Okay, coming up on our next bridge on the first day. This one's a little bit more intricate than the first one we went across, which was just a log with some side rails on it. This one here's actually got some planks on it. There's Kath. Yeah, beautiful little bridge. Unlike in the Sierras where you've got to walk across this water.
Right.
Here we get the, and then you actually have to walk in the water in the Sierras to get across.
So this is the bridge where, what's his name, Rabbit? What was his name? Died last year.
Yeah.
The bear, Mama Bear and 2 cubs. The cubs were on the bridge and Mama was down there getting a drink.
Drink?
And he had to wait.
Yeah. It's a nice little breakout view. See the lake down there we hiked by earlier. Beautiful day. So we started the Bridge of the Gods this morning. Mileage on GUTHOOK is 2147.7. And we're presently eating lunch. at a GUTHOOK camp or tent site. Which is located at 2153.5. 4753, that's 5 miles, right? Oh, that's more than 6. It's like 6 miles.
Close to 6.
4753. So good morning there, hiking fans. Kath and I are up in Adam here the morning of our second day out on the Washington State PCT. Just made some coffee and we're having our little breakfast bar and drinking some coffee inside the tent. Got a few mosquitoes and gnats out there this morning, so we're going to stay in here until we're done. And then we'll be packing it up and heading on out. We got in 7 miles yesterday and we're going to try to do the same today. We'll see. We got a big climb ahead of us, about an 1,800-foot climb. So.
And water.
And water, that's right. Kath reminded me we're going to have to camel some water. So we're going to stop at the water source where we got our water last night on the way up to our next camp spot and load up. We'll be carrying 4 or 5 liters of water each today. So I hope you're having fun at home and enjoying your coffee, sitting by the comfortable TV set and enjoying life wherever you may be. And we'll see you on the trail. So here's the little water source that we're tapping to camel up with water for our hike up to the next campsite. You can see Kath over there. You can see all those bottles we filled up. The bottled water we'll be drinking today. The bagged water in the bigger bags. Those platypus bags are 2-liter bottles, so that's 4 pounds of water there between those 2 bags of water. These are what we'll drink today. There's 3 for me, 3 for Kath. Kath's doing a little cameling up, right? Aren't you, Kath?
I am. I'm
Drinking
done. I'm cameled.
At our water source here because we won't see water again, at least not reliable water, until about 11 miles down the road.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and dump this back.
Okay.
I'm not going to carry it.
Yeah, I know. So here we are at the information board for Table Mountain National Recreation or Natural Resources Conservation Area, excuse me. You can see "You Are Here" is where that shows us on there. Interesting comments down here on their little note board. One guy says both ways are brutal. So depending on what you want to do, and then turn right at next sign for Table Mountain, which we're not going to do. We're staying on the PCT. And Kath pointed out right down here below the sign, there's actually a little campsite right there. Of course, that doesn't have water either, so we'd have had to hike back down to, we'd camped there, we'd had to hike back down. Right, Kath?
Yep. So either way.
Either way. All right, here we are. We've loaded up. We got our extra water. We're heading out. We got God's flower garden here along the trail. Back up that hillside there. A nice crop of wildflowers. Rocks here on this trail. Be careful of your footing. So more rocks. About a half a mile from the last rock slide. Here's the next one. Some pretty views though. Got across the valley there. Okay, we sat down to take a break here before we climb up 1,000 feet in elevation gain here over the next mile and a tenth. And here's our buddy. The green cat says a green banana slug, right?
Yeah, that's what he looks like. There he is.
We're about at the third of the way up on our 1,000-foot elevation change in 1 mile. And you can see we don't have too much further to go to get up into the clouds there. So for your viewing pleasure, another beautiful stretch of wildflowers right along the trail there. Pretty spectacular. And no, we didn't get lost. This is actually the trail. And you can see how overgrown it is. Just commenting to Kath, that I'm sure she was glad that she wore her long pants to hike in this year and not her crop pants or shorts, because we've had several stretches where the trail's been pretty close to this, completely grown over. You just barely make out the trail underneath all the foliage there. So here we are at Camp Goodrich in the second day of our adventure. Very nice campsites. Kath and I have been very impressed with their tent sites that they have set up for the PCT people. See our clothesline down there. We've got some of our sweaty gear that we sweated all over today. Plus we got a little mist, a little dew from the vegetation we had to walk through. So we got our clothes pretty wet today. Letting those dry out. And we're making a little dinner tonight. We just finished boiling some water and putting our freeze-dried spaghetti in there to sit. It's got about 6 more minutes and we'll be ready to eat. And as you can see the way that Kath and I are both dressed, it's a little cool tonight. I think it's probably in the upper 40s, low 50s here right now. So we're going to go ahead and eat our dinner inside the tent tonight. So that'll be fun. We've got to clean up and brush our teeth and hang the my pack that's got all of the food in it. We're going to hang it up in that tree tonight. Keep the critters from getting into it. And then we'll be proceeding on out of here bright and early in the morning for the third day of our PCT Washington State adventure. So we just started day 3, and as you can see, we're hiking in the clouds this morning. We got a little more rain last night. Fortunately, we had our camp set up so we weren't caught out in it. Started raining about 6:30 or 7 and didn't stop until after midnight. So today we're going to be on about a 7.5 mile hike. Most of it's going to be downhill. And we're going to end up stopping to camel up a little more water at Rock Creek, which is about 6 miles down the road. And then our campsite for the night is, I think, about 1.5 miles from Rock Creek. And the reason we have to take extra water up there is after we camp tonight, we'll have a 9-mile hike into Trout Creek on July the 4th. Incredible views here. Hard to believe. We're hiking in the clouds at 3,000 feet. So Kath and I are on our first break of the morning on day number 3. We're still in the clouds, aren't we, Kath?
We are, and it's very wet.
We're taking a break at a tent site here that's just before you start to go down to Rock Creek. And we've gone what, about 1.5 miles, maybe? 2 miles? Almost 2 miles.
1.8.
And 1.8 miles so far. We got up at 5 this morning. We got a little earlier start. We were out of camp by 7:28 this morning.
Wow.
And it's only 8:45. So we're doing good. We're going to stop and have a little snack, stretch out. I'm going to pan down to my pant legs because you can't quite see it as good on Kath's. But that's water. That's from the car wash.
Yes. Well, and look at the boots.
And the boots, you can see Kath's boots there. See mine, I got a little water on them. But I often wondered why it was they called Washington State the car wash. I thought it was just for the rain. But the real car wash, if you think about it, when you go through a car wash, they've got those rollers and brushes that go along the side of the car. That's what it's like to hike up here with this fauna. Is it flora? I guess it's the flora, right? It's the plants. The ferns up here come right up along the side of the trail, and you can't help but brush up against them when you're walking along, so you get a little damp.
They reach out over the trail. Yesterday was like, ugh.
Yeah, we had a couple of spots there yesterday, didn't we?
I could not see the trail.
Yeah.
Ahead of me. It was just plants,
Yeah.
flowers.
Total green.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wet.
Wildflowers were gorgeous.
Very wet.
Yeah, I got some nice wildflower pictures. So, morning update. We're going to hike how far today, Kath?
7.3.
7.3 miles, and Rock Creek is about 1.5 miles before we get to our campsite, isn't
Right.
it? Rock Creek's where we're going to camel up again on the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did good on the water as far as having enough for
We had
camping
overkill.
last night. Yeah, we did, which is always best to
So-
have a little bit more than not enough. But yesterday, for all the Sierra hiking we've done over the last couple of years, yesterday for me was the toughest hike I think I've been on. It's a combination of things. Number one is we're basically fully loaded for an 11-day outing between the Bridge of the Gods and Trout Lake. And so I had a full load of food. I'm carrying all the food again for 11 days. Then we had to camel water in, and I ended up carrying 5 liters, extra liters, which is 10 pounds of water. And Kath, you ended up with what, 6?
8.
8 liters?
Oh, 6. Yes, 6 liters, so 12 pounds.
6 liters. So Kath carried 12 pounds. And we had enough water this morning where we're comfortable. We're more than comfortable to get down to Rock Creek. But man, I was dying at a couple of those early stages there when we were climbing those hills. It was a little humid. The humidity up here is unbelievable. I thought it was humid in Dallas. In our tent last night, I brought a little pocket thermometer with a humidifier on it, and the humidity was 93%, and the temperature this morning was like 51. So you got to be careful up here you don't get hypothermic. So after about 4 hours of hiking this morning, we finally reached the Rock Creek area. So we've got plenty of water flowing through here. It's crystal clear. So we're going to filter some water to take with us because the campsite we're sleeping at tonight has no water. And you can see the Rock Creek Bridge up there. And Kath and I found a nice little lunch spot. We're going to have lunch here before we proceed on up to our campsite for the night. About 150 feet from the bridge. We're going to have our tuna today, right?
Yes, tuna.
Tuna for lunch. So Kath is filtering some water there out of our Be-Free bag, which is pretty cool. Scoop up the water in the bag, and then that blue thing you see sticking there at the bottom is the filter. And the water comes right out of the bag and goes right into your bottle. It's pretty cool. A lot faster than the filter we were using last year.
So Sam is doing our 2-liter bag. So
This is for dinner and for breakfast tomorrow morning. We have to have enough water to make dinner, have a little something to drink at dinner, and then coffee in the morning.
Give a little black bag to the burner.
Yes, I do. It's in my orange ditty bag right there. So here we are. It's the morning of day 4 of our hiking. It's July the 4th. So happy Independence Day to everybody. This is our campsite from last night. Yesterday was a long day for me. So didn't do too much recording. But I wanted to show you our campsite. Beautiful place. Just behind that log down there, there's actually some water. We haven't been able to get down to it, but there is water down there, which is nice. We didn't expect to have water here, so we actually cameled some into this site. You can see our clothesline over there. You can see my bear bag tied up there in that tree, and I'm not recommending this for anybody because there is a proper way to hang your food to keep it away from the bears. But sometimes you don't get the ideal setup to be able to hang your food. So what we've done is we put our food inside of my backpack and jacked it up the side of that tree there with one of our bear bag ropes. And that's about as good as we could do with the environment that we had here. There wasn't any really good tree limbs to hang the food from. There's our little tent. You can see we're in the process of cleaning up and packing up here to get started this morning. We got up at 5 o'clock this morning and had a breakfast bar and some nice coffee. It's beautiful. Check out that big tree right there. Beautiful trees. And the one thing I'll say about hiking here so far, which is a big change from the Sierras, is there is a lot of humidity here. And unlike the Sierras where it was so dry, can't believe it. We had 91% humidity and 60 degrees this morning when we got up here in camp. It's pretty much been that way. I've never sweated so much at between 60 and 70 degrees as I have around here. Fortunately, yesterday it was cloudy, so at least the sun wasn't beating down us while we were climbing up and down the trail. And we took plenty of rest breaks, water breaks, took care of ourselves. So we'll do a morning update here in just a minute. I wanted to give you a chance to see what our campsite looked like. Hope you're enjoying our adventure with us this year. Well, first of all, happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
So this is day 4 of our hike there on the Washington State PCT. And we spent the night where last night, honey?
We are about half a mile from Snag Creek.
Snag Creek, that's correct.
Right.
And there's actually a water source here where we're at, which is shown on the GUTHOOKs as being a seasonal water source, which means that it's unreliable. But I was actually able to go down there this morning and get some water out of the creek bed down there, and it's actually flowing pretty good. I mean, it's not a trickle, it's not roaring, but it's steady.
Yeah.
And it's nice, clear, clean water. So what's our plan for today, honey?
We have 9.3 miles today. We
And
have
we're going to
about
where?
4 up and about 5 down.
Yeah.
It is Trout Creek.
Yeah, we're going to end up at Trout Creek, and the rumor control has it from all of our resources that we have tapped, they actually may have a bathroom and some picnic tables there at Trout Creek. We'll see when we get there, won't we?
That's right.
Are we ready?
I'm ready. It's a good morning.
It is a good morning.
I feel good. I'm ready.
I am. Yeah, other than it being 90% humidity out there, I'm ready to go. All right.
Okay.
We'll see you later. So there's an interesting rock formation there. Looks like a rock slide that's been pretty much covered up by moss and stuff. Trails up here are beautiful. You can see it's a nice sodded forested path here. And plenty of foliage. This is about as wide as it gets up here. The plants aren't intruding too much along this portion of it right here. So we finally crested our high point for the day on our climb up out of our campsite on day 4. I'm over 3,100 feet. We're descending now down about 2,900 feet. And there's a junction to Rock Creek Road at 2,900 foot level. That's where we're going to stop and have lunch. It's fun. The sun's finally come out after a couple of days, which is nice. And hiking in some in and out sunshine here with the shade. Trail's in good condition. You can see the wildflowers there. And this isn't too bad for the plants on either side there going into the trail. This is about normal from what we've seen so far. A couple of spots early on there the last couple of days where it's been, you couldn't even see the trail because of the overgrowth over the top of it to kind of pick your way through there. So, Kath and I are making really good time since we started our descent from where we had lunch there today down to Trout Creek. Got to meet a young lady whose trail name is Cacao, who is hiking the PCT this year, and she had to skip over the Sierras because of all the snow. So she did Oregon, and she's going to finish up Washington, and then I guess she's going to go back and finish up the portion that she didn't get to finish there in the Sierras. But show the difference in what going downhill on a nice trail as opposed to uphill. Took us 45 minutes to go 2 miles coming downhill, so we're expecting this to hold up with as long as the trail stays the same. And we should be getting into Trout Creek sometime between 3:30 and 4 this afternoon, which is really good for a 9-mile day. So we're excited, and we'll talk to you guys once we get set up at camp. All right, here we are coming up on a beautiful view overlooking the Trout Creek area. Beautiful. No, this is the overlook. All right. You were looking for the PCT, weren't you?
Yep.
Back the other way there. Wow, what a great view though. So are you doing the PCT?
Most of it.
Oh, good.
I started in Campo and went from Campo to Kennedy Meadows, and I bailed out at the Sierras.
At the Sierras? So you came up here to
didn't want
do
to
this?
deal with it.
Yeah.
And had some time restraints and some other stuff going on, and so I figured I'd just bust out Washington.
Yeah.
Before I have
And
to
then
go
you
back to life.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Yep.
All right, I hear you. Well, congratulations, number one, for even being out here doing it. That's great. Just saw those 3 girls there.
Yep.
They're going the opposite direction, I guess. It said they're going back down to the Sierras now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have flipped up and are going backwards, and makes sense if that's the way you're doing it. If you're gonna go finish the Sierras.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are flipping up to Ashland, then doing Ashland south to the Sierras, finishing the Sierras, and then jumping back up to Ashland and going north from there.
Wow.
So they can still end with the
monument.
With the monument. It's like, well, I mean, I guess I can see that point, but
yeah. So do you have a trail name yet?
I'm Gandolph.
Gandolph, very good. Well, you're going to be on my YouTube channel there, Gandolph. So awesome. So doing Washington, then that's it. You're going to have to.
Yep, I'll do Washington, and I'm from Seattle area, so I'm just going to finish there, have my friends pick me up, and then I'll come back next year and finish the Sierras in Oregon.
So where do you think? Well, where? When do you think you're going to finish up at Manning?
I'm doing about 15 to 20 mile days, so probably a little over a month.
Not good.
So.
Good. We're going to be up there September the 11th. My wife and I, we're hiking. We started the Bridge of the Gods.
Perfect. Yeah, that's where I
Doing the
started
section,
a couple days ago.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, good. Well, don't let me delay it. I just wanted to say hi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you bet. And good luck. Safe hiking there, too.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Well, here we are approaching Trout Creek. Hopefully we have a campsite here for tonight. Hasn't been occupied by one of the 4th of July revelers. Nine-mile day. It took us 9 hours. Gandolph, we meet again.
Hello, hello. So I jumped off there and then had some other stuff going on, so I figured I'd go bust out Washington and do that. So started Bridge of the Gods on the 1st, so then
so did we.
Yeah.
Slowly easing back in.
Slowly easing, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we're
it took a
stopping
week and
here.
a half off.
He's going on.
He's going on, yeah.
We're stopping
How much
here.
further today for you?
Either Wind River or Panther Creek.
Oh, Panther Creek.
So probably 3 to 5 miles.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We might make it that far tomorrow, right? Panther Creek.
Yeah, I think that's where we were planning.
Pretty
on
close,
staying,
yeah.
Actually, that's what, 9 miles from here, basically.
I
think it's about
Wind River, I think, is 3.
Okay.
And I think Panther Creek is 6.
Oh, okay.
So
Then I think we're
Up a
going
little
9.
further? Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So,
All right, so have you found us a campsite yet,
Well,
honey?
he's not going to stay. He's just resting and relaxing.
Oh,
But
okay.
There's a spot over here. There's one item on that rock, and that's it. There's nothing else there. He said he hasn't seen anybody here in 15 minutes. So I don't know whether...
Let's go down and check it out. See what we got. Got to stay someplace tonight.
That's right. If we don't talk to you again, be safe.
Yeah, Gandalf. Yeah, good luck to you.
Enjoy.
How about back on the right here?
I know, that's beautiful back there.
Well, that's what I'm...
But see,
Yeah, I think somebody might have just left something.
well, or they want this spot right here. Another spot.
Oh, I see.
I think that somebody just left some. It's just a handkerchief.
So my guess is somebody lost that and whoever found it just put it up there. Yeah, let's take this one right here.
That's beautiful. Oh my God.
So this is going to be our little home away from home today.
Whew,
You can see there's the
gorgeous.
Trout Creek Bridge, and the water is right down there on the other side of this other little campsite down here. So this looks like a popular place.
Oh my God.
We're going to go down there and stick our feet in the water here in a minute, aren't we, honey? I'm going to take a couple of towels down there and towel off my face and
Oh,
do the whole
I
thing.
may even sit in it.
Yeah, the cat might sit in it. We
Yep.
won't show that on YouTube though.
Well, it doesn't mean I'm going to sit in it naked.
No, okay. So here we are at Trout Creek. Cass filtering some water into her bottle.
Yep.
Actually, she's got 2 bottles there. She's going to drink a little water,
Yeah, I'm going to
refill her other bottle, and then we'll be heading out for our next 9-mile hike today. We're going to have to camel in some water about 5 miles down the road. We're going to have to pick up some extra water because we'll be at a dry campsite tonight. And we need enough to get us to that campsite, have dinner, breakfast in the morning, and enough water to get us to the next campsite, which has water, which is another 6 miles or 7 miles down the road from where we're stopping tonight. So I'm gonna do that. We heard the fireworks last night after we went to bed. Couldn't see anything. You could actually hear them in the distance. You see that Trout Creek is running very nicely this morning. Kath and I'll be doing our morning update. There's the Trout Creek Bridge up there. Let me give you a look at that. Pick you up on the bridge here. We can take a look on the bridge side. Beautiful. And it looks like we're going to have at least a partly sunny day. The sun's already trying to burn through that morning layer there. Trout Creek. And for you berry fans, we've got a few blueberries. You can see the one on this end right here. They're just turning blue. But they're all over the place. Got some over here in this tree, or near this tree, blueberry bush or vine. So we should have some fairly good blueberry picking. Okay, honey, time for the morning update. Where are we?
We're at Trout Creek.
Yes, it was a 9.3 miles yesterday, wasn't it?
It was.
We had the banana slug stampede yesterday.
Slugfest.
And we met some PCT hikers yesterday.
We did.
And we had some trail magic yesterday. Tell us what the trail angels did for us.
We got some fresh blueberries from her garden and some fresh snap peas. Wonderful, really good. And cookies. It was so nice.
Yeah, we met this group up there. We were about a mile out. They were day hiking, and they were up at their lunch site, weren't they?
Yeah.
So we were about 3 miles out. And they came through, we talked for a minute, and they went on about their way. And when they came back through last night, they stopped at their campsite and did us a good one.
Yeah. They were actually trying to hit all the, long distance PCT hikers, and we're just short.
We're short.
500 miles is just short.
We're just section people.
But they had leftovers, so they gave it to us.
That's good. So what are we going to do today, honey?
We're walking 9.1 miles to
some dirt road
Yeah.
with two tent sites on it.
Right.
In the middle of nowhere. It's past Panther Creek. We know that
Yes.
much because we have to get water there.
Right.
We're going to have to camel in water.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm ready to go. Are you
I
ready?
am too. Let's do
go.
it.
Let's go get them. So I don't know whether you can read that sign or not, but we're just getting ready to start the trail from Trout Creek. Top line reads Pacific Crest Trail number 2000, and the bottom line is Wind River Work Center, 1 mile. Saw that from the overlook yesterday. It's a beautiful looking place. I don't know what they do down there. So we're heading off on our little adventure today, 9.1 miles. So we finished a little 0.2 of a mile road walk, rejoining the PCT here. And you can see the wildflowers. Man, it's gorgeous. Good time of the year to be up here. And we're looking at that big knob there. I'm not sure that's the one we're going to go up, but we're going to go up somewhere up here shortly. See, the trail is very smooth and even. It's got that nice sod. This is what we like. Okay, we've hiked about 3 miles now. We're coming up on SZYDO Road. And across SZYDO and then Wind River is the first water source we're gonna get today. You can see some cabins down there. I don't know whether that's Forest Service or private home or what there. See through the trees there's a building of some kind there. So SZYDO is coming up here on the trail. It's been nice this morning. We made good progress. Only been a couple hours since we, a little less than a couple hours since we left, and we've gone almost 3 miles. So the hard part's going to be after we get to Panther Creek, which is another couple of miles after Wind River. Once we get there, we're going to be going basically straight back up to about 2,500 feet to where we're going to camp out tonight. And like we said this morning, camping spot is a dirt road, and it has 2 tent sites. That's how it's marked on the PCT maps. Alrighty then. This is SZYDO Road coming up right here. Cross here and continue on the trail. And you can see that building up there. Looks like it's some kind of maintenance facility there for the road crew or forest crew up there. And they've obviously got some private property up here because they got a no trespassing sign right across the road. The trail goes, I think, right next to it. Figure this out here. All right, here we are approaching the Wind River Bridge. See how much water they have in here. Probably give us a good idea how much water Panther Creek's gonna have. Oh, look at this nice little arch on it. Oh yeah. Plenty of water. Beautiful. So, Kath, what do you got in that bag?
Blueberries.
And where did you get those blueberries, honey?
Trail Angel last night at the campground.
We had some for breakfast this morning, didn't we?
We did, and the rest of them are going to be for either lunch or maybe tonight for dessert.
That's right. I'm looking forward to that. Fresh fruit on the trail. Now, since we're speaking of trail magic, where are we at, honey?
We are, the road right up there is, what road is that?
Wind River Road.
I thought that was Wind River.
That was Wind River, and this
All
is
right,
the
this is
road.
Wind River Road. That's where we are, Wind River Road.
And so what's going on here? Why are we sitting
Well,
there?
There's trail magic right there. Now, we didn't take anything because we didn't need any of that.
Right, but it's some guy by the name of Brett Lloyd, correct?
Yes.
He's got a PCT Facebook page. It says on that bucket he's from the East Coast. He was forced to leave the trail. And it looked like he mailed all of his
Resupply.
resupply to us, and they brought it down here and put it out as a trail magic. So we've had trail magic in
Twice.
2 days in a row.
That's right. And there's a can over there that says you can put your trash
Trash,
in it.
and so what are you doing now, Kath?
I am putting my trash all in one little bag
Right, because
so
we're
that we can dump it out.
on our 5th day on the trail, so we have a little bit of trash.
We have a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. So it's good.
Yeah. So our next water is at Panther Creek, correct?
Yes.
And that's where we're gonna camel up and haul some water in the last 3.4 miles up to where we're camping at the dirt road with 2 tent sites.
All right.
And as you can see, Kath and I are sprawled out here. Just to kind of give you our routine throughout the day. We normally stop about every 45 minutes, take our packs off. This is actually the widest spot in the road we've had for the last 2 miles. Most of the time you have to sit in the trail to be able to take a break, to be able to get off the side of the trail. So about every 45 minutes we take about a 5 or 10 minute break, get some refreshments. We just had a snack here, drink some fluids, and then we set our clocks and meet up in about 45 minutes down the trail and do it again. We just do it over and over and over again until we're done for the day. Life on the trail. Somebody's got to do it. I'm glad it's Kath and I. Okay, we've done our due diligence. We just took our last rest break, and you can see that's the spot where we had to sit, or chose to sit, because the rest of the trail looks just about like the same. There's hardly any places to get off without getting into the foliage. It's very rare that you get a wide spot in the road. Anyway, we're a mile from Panther Creek, which is where we're going to have lunch, and we're going to camel up water to take up with us tonight at our campsite, which is 3.5 miles up the mountain from Panther Creek. So I think they're trying to give the horse people a clue. It looks like they're trying to indicate that the bridge is slippery when wet. They want you to walk your horses. I believe this is Panther Creek Bridge. I believe. I don't know. So we'll find out when we get up here. Water going down through there. Sounds like a pretty good water source to me. And there's my honey. Hey, honey. Panther Creek.
Yeah.
Perfect. Got a place to lay out some stuff to get it in the sun. Put your feet in the water. Nice break where we have to go up the other side of that bridge right there and go up that big old mountain right there. Okay, let's get some lunch in a minute. And we'll talk to you guys later. So Kath and I have broken out on our climb out of Panther Creek, about a mile from our campsite tonight. And look at this view. Taking a little break right now. This is why you do wilderness hiking. So what you're looking at is our bee-free 3-liter bag of water. And we each have 3 of the 700 milliliter smart bottles that we're carrying with us. We've already filled those up for this morning. This is all that remains here in this 3-liter bee-free bag of the water that we hauled up here yesterday. We're both going to drink about half of that, and then I'm going to put the other half in a 2-liter bag, whatever's left over. And I'll carry that with us for our hike, our 7-mile, was it 7.3?
Yeah.
7-mile hike day, 7.3 mile hike to our next camp spot. Kath is saying we actually have water down there, so we don't have to worry about hauling water in down there. So she's finishing up her packing. See how efficient she is. She's got her little sit pad laid out there to keep her clothing items clean of all forest debris. But it doesn't help when the sweat any, does it, honey?
It does.
Yeah, we're both looking forward to washing some clothes and washing our feet, washing our face, and we'll get down to camp tonight. Another beautiful morning,
It is.
7:30. So we're doing good.
We're getting better.
We repacked our food supply into the 2 bear bags. We've been hauling them around in the smelly proof bags in my pack because there were just so much food there. We couldn't get it all in the 2 bear bags we brought, so we just used the smelly proofs here for the first 5 days. We finally got it down to a manageable size where we can put it in all of the food in the 2 bear bags that we brought. So I've got those packed up. This is my pack over here. Got all that food packed up in there, along with everything else that I'm carrying. And we'll be ready to give you a morning brief in just a second. Time for the morning update.
Yep.
So how did we do yesterday?
We did good. I mean,
For old people.
it was a slog that last
Yeah.
3.5, 4 miles.
4 miles dragging that water up that hill,
Yeah,
because
but
that
it
was a
was-
pretty good climb.
It was worth it because we needed it.
So what do we do today, honey?
7.3, short day. We
Yes.
go up for about 2 miles, and then the rest is just kind of,
Undulating.
yeah,
Yeah.
not bad.
And we're going to be at a stream and 5 campsites tonight, right?
There you go.
Got a choice of 5 campsites.
That's right. And we'll be there early enough. We should
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
able to
7
have
all
our
day.
choice.
Yeah, hopefully.
Woo, nice.
All right, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's go get them.
Okay.
All right. So we've been on the trail about 30 minutes this morning. Nice and cool, overcast morning. And the hike is what we expected it to be here, at least this first portion. I don't know how well this shows up on the GoPro, but we've been pretty much climbing since we left camp. And I think if I looked at the maps right last night, we're going to have to climb up about, let's say about 1,000 feet to get on the top of our ridgeline up here. And like I said, we've been moving for 30 minutes. So another 15 minutes or so, we'll have a programmed rest stop, take a little pack break. We find that works the best for us. So we finished our first break at Forest Road 68. Climbed up a little bit more. I think we're going to be pretty much ridgeline walking for the rest of the day. You can see through the trees there. I'm looking out across there from where we probably were yesterday. And we're going to come out to a little spot here. We're going to break out a little bit. Beautiful day. We keep climbing up here. We're going to be back in the clouds again. See the clouds skimming the top of that ridgeline on the other side over there. Yeah, it is.
Oh, it
The
is?
light
It's
is
on?
It's recording.
Hi, GoPro.
So where are we, honey?
On an uphill.
Yeah, 2.7 miles. This is our second break of the day. And we're just, we went from 2,200 feet. We're all the way up to, what did I say, 3,500 feet now? So we're at 3,500 feet. We've been climbing pretty much the entire morning. Trail's been nice.
Beautiful.
But we're in the clouds now. We're in the cloud layer here. I think that there's a permanent cloud layer in Washington State between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. And we're actually we can feel the little mist drops on us here as we're sitting on the trail. This is normally about as wide as it gets, so if somebody comes hiking down the trail, Kath and I, well, Kath is not going to have to move too much, but I'll have to pull my legs in here to keep from tripping somebody coming down the trail. So I'm between ridge lines right now. Descended a little bit. Kind of going through a forested glen area. This is an incredible little piece of trail right here. So we had our lunch today. The wind was blowing pretty good. We were getting a couple of sprinkles, so we set up our tent down here. But look at the wildflower garden that we had to enjoy our lunch to. And there's a beautiful overlook here on the breakout views down here. You can see the mist, the clouds are actually right on the edge of the clouds here. 4,049 feet right here. We're about a mile and a half from our camp tonight, and it's all downhill from here. We're going to go from 4,049 feet down to about 3,500 feet. Should take us about an hour maybe to get down there. Beautiful day. Under our packs, you can see we set up our little tent here. It was really nice, wasn't it, Kath? Had a nice wind break there.
Yeah, we needed to get out of the wind.
Out of the wind, keep from getting hypothermic. And back up there, that's where we came from. All those beautiful flowers up there. So where are we going tomorrow?
Green Lake, 7.6.
7.6.
I had originally 7.9 on the calendar, but
Does it have water?
it's a lake.
Thank you. This is how Kath and I spend our afternoons after we've had a long day of hiking. We actually got a hiker bath today, didn't we, Kath?
We did. It was so nice.
We each got 1 liter of hot water, unfiltered water right out of the stream. So we each got to take a little spit bath, if you want to call it that. It feels so good to get the crud off, at least the big chunks. And we'll do a better job of getting cleaned up once we get to town there in Trout Lake, because we went over halfway today on the mileage. So we're halfway on our 82 miles over to Trout Lake. It's the first leg of our Washington PCT adventure. Having a good time. It's a little chilly out there right now, though, isn't it, Kath?
It is, and we both just took a bath, so we're,
Yeah.
it's,
So we're
we don't want to get
bundling
chilled.
up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll check in with you later. We're gonna have dinner here probably in an hour or two and take a little nap. Talk to you.
Yep. Happy.
So good morning, hiker fans. Here we are at the campsite of our 6th night. We're getting ready to start our 7th day. It's Sunday. And as Kath and I both said this morning, Sundays, this is a day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. I've just been out to do my morning constitutional. And those of you that know what this is will know what I mean by constitutional. You can see our campsite behind me. Very nice little campsite. We were the only ones here last night. And there's actually 5 little spots like this located in this area. We have water here, but it was merely a trickle yesterday, so I'm sure glad that that it had water, number one. And number two, we were able to get at the water, because we had to use a cup basically to scoop the water out of the little trickle down there, didn't we, honey?
But it was moving.
Yeah, it was moving.
So
It was
that was
moving.
good.
That is always good. So we scooped up about 4 liters of it, and we used that for cooking this morning. We had our coffee this morning, and we'll put the rest of it, what's left over, in our hiking bottles, those little 700 milliliter smart bottles that we carry around. That's what they look like. And there's a pipe stream that's 2.7 miles down the road, so if we need any water to start off with, we'll top off our water at that point, do some filtering and top the water off. So here we are, day 7 on the trail. We're just getting ready to start.
That's July 7th,
It's July the 7th, correct, honey?
day 7.
And we are on the Pacific Crest Trail. There's a sign marker on the tree. See a few of those here and there. And the reason we're not doing our morning update in the campsite is, if I'm going to turn the camera down there, you can see all those downed logs there. Our campsite was in there about 100 yards. We had to step over 3 of those big logs. And literally it was an exercise of handing packs over the logs to each other, because you couldn't do it with the pack on. And we did the reverse coming out this morning, so we're going to do the update here actually on the trail. We're going to be heading in that direction right down there, right behind Kath.
Out of the way.
So that's the direction we're going to be going. That's to the north, right, Kath?
Correct. That's Canada that way.
That's Canada. All right, so how was it here last night, honey?
It was very quiet. It was nice.
Yeah, what did we have for dinner last night?
I forget. Oh yeah, mashed potatoes and bacon bits in
Bacon
it.
bits, yes, and for dessert?
We had a cacao chocolate bar.
Yeah, it was good.
It was okay.
Yeah. And the breakfast this morning, what did you have for breakfast?
I had a pro bar, an oatmeal pro bar.
Oatmeal Pro Bar, and I had my Breakfast of Champions. I had a Bobo Bar. I had the cranberry raisin. Isn't that what it is?
Cranberry something.
Cranberry something. Anyway, so we're getting ready to go. Where are we headed today?
Here we are. We're going to Green Lake.
Green Lake, which is how far down the road?
8.2.
All right, we're looking 8.2 miles down the road, and it's just kind of undulating, right? It's no
It is.
big ups, no big downs,
we
just kind of undulating.
We should make good time.
All right, so we'll check in with you all later. So here we are. We've stopped for our second stop of the day here at day 7. Kath said she really appreciates the trail people that come out here and do all this work. Look at that log. They skinned that log for just for her, so that she can come and sit like a normal human being
That's right.
with her legs straight down instead of cross-legged or crooked.
Straight out. Ugh.
Yeah.
Bad.
Okay, where are we at now? We're at the Crest Trail
Yeah,
parking lot or
parking
something
area, yeah.
on our hike on day 7. Let me just show you this thing. Of course, we got a picnic table here. This is just a parking lot, I guess, for day hikers to come up.
Well, day hikers or campers.
Or
It's
campers,
camping.
yeah. Or you can camp.
There is camping.
And look at this. Underneath the picnic table, they put in starter firewood for you. Plus, here's the fire pit. Excuse me. Walk right by the fire pit. You got all this beautiful wood here stacked up. So somebody's really nice, and whoever it is, we appreciate whoever you are. We're not going to camp here. We're just going to have our lunch here, right, Annie?
Yes.
And eat lunch here. We may use the toilet facilities if the urge strikes, and then we're going to proceed on up to Green Lake today. So hope you're having fun. We are. We're having a great time up here. All we want to know is what the score of the USA Netherlands women's soccer game is.
Somebody Somebody might be able to tell us.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask.
Or we might be able to get some internet coverage.
Yeah, that's true. All right, talk to you later. All right, Kath and I are getting ready to have lunch, but I wanted to give you some specifics here. I'm looking at my GUTHOOKS app here. It says we are at mile 2198.4, and that's for the whole PCT. Obviously, Kath and I haven't hiked 2198 miles. But that's the location on the GUTHOOKS app for where we're at, which is this Crest Trail parking area. You can see the cars in the background there. I'm getting ready to have lunch. We're at an elevation of 3,491 feet, and we're going to be camping tonight when we get to Green Lake above 4,000 for the first time. That'll be a first. And let me check Mr. GUTHOOKS here and tell you how far we got to go. We've already gone, what, 3.9 or something? 4.9.
No, time for yeah, close to 5. Or maybe after a little more than 5.
So Sheep Lake is 1.8 miles ahead, and here is the one we're going to. Green Lake is 2.9 miles ahead, and it's located in the elevation there is 4,238 feet. So that's where we'll be camping tonight.
Cool beans.
So, honey, what are we having for lunch today?
Beef stick and cheese.
Beef stick and cheese, awesome. And why are we wearing our bug nets, honey?
Because it's buggy.
But we have the advantage here of actually sitting at a picnic table. Is this not awesome? This is awesome. Awesome blossom. All right, we'll talk to you in a few. So before we depart, we get to have lunch with and visit with PCT section hiker Chicken Wing. All right, here's something a little different. We just passed Sheep Lake on our hike up to Green Lake, where we're going to be camping tonight. We're about a half mile from our camp. There's a beautiful little meadow. This is the first meadow like this we've seen in the middle of the forest since we started our hike. Beautiful. So we've entered the Indian Heaven Wilderness of the Mount Adams National Forest, and we're a couple of tenths of a mile away from our campsite tonight at Green Lake. Trail conditions have been beautiful. We'll be camping here at Green Lake, which is above 4,000 feet. I think it's 4,029 feet. So we're look forward to our first night of camping above 4,000. That'll be cool. So as you can see, Kath and I are dropping our packs here. We're just short of the lake. We can see the lake here about 100 yards ahead. This is one of the campsites that's a possibility. And they've got a smaller one even than that back here in the back. I think this is going to be it for camping tonight. So Kath has dropped her pack here. Somebody has a grill
Right.
there, great for you to use if you need to barbecue something tonight.
You know, that may be the trail too, because, you know.
Yeah, it could be. But we're going to walk down to the lake, see if there's any other spots available. Let you get a good look at the lake. I'm going to have to come down here and filter some water in a little while, and I'm going to bring my GoPro down and show you how I go about filtering water with our new Be Free bag that we got. I got a 3 liter and a 1 liter Be Free bag. Now look for any side trails that go off here, honey. That might indicate there's some more camping someplace. And here is Green Lake.
Kath and I got a story to tell. Here we were minding our own business. Hiked into Green Lake yesterday. What was our issue yesterday when we got to Green Lake, Kath?
The mosquitoes are like a gazillion to 1
Billion.
inch.
Yeah. They were all over us.
Oh my gosh, my hands, my hands were exposed. I had on long sleeves. My hands and wrists have so many bites. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so we found the tent site.
A sort of tent site.
Yeah, it's a pretty small one. In fact, we had to take out part of the fire pit to be able to put the tent up yesterday. And about the time we got the last stake in, I had a back spasm, and I literally could not move for a few minutes. My back tightened up on me. And so we got the tent up. I was able to drag myself inside the tent. I took my Advil. I took a fistful of Advil and took about a 2-hour nap. And Kath finished filtering water for us and taking care of the packs and stuff. And so we made a decision last night not to have a hot meal because that would have meant going outside to cook. And the mosquitoes were all over the place. So we had a cold dinner last night, and we just finished a breakfast bar in here with some, I had Crystal Light to drink. Kath, what'd you have? Just water?
Water.
Yeah, Kath drank water, and she had a bar or some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're planning on doing is we're gonna just roll up our sleeping pads inside the tent, pack up our quilts inside the tent, and then we're going to get out of camp as quickly as we can this morning. Get away from these mosquitoes, although we're going to another place today, a couple of places that may have mosquitoes, and that's Blue Lake, which is the next water source, and then we're going to ultimately end up tonight at, is it Bear Lake?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to end up at Bear Lake. So my back's feeling a lot better this morning. I knew it was just a spasm yesterday because I've had it happen to me before. I think it was just the humidity. Your back starts to cool off as soon as you stop hiking, and I did not have a puffy or something on to keep my back warm. And that was the basic cause of it. As soon as I got the Advil in me and I've had some rest, I got up this morning. It seems to be fine. So we'll be proceeding on. Hope you all are having a nice time at home, drinking a nice hot cup of coffee, watching your TV with your feet propped up, and not having to worry about too many mosquitoes. We'll talk to you later.
So we've been hiking for about 35 minutes. Got a slow climb, and we're getting some breakout views here. You can see the cloud layer right there. Another gorgeous morning out here. I got my back warmed up again. It's feeling pretty good. I'm gonna take minimum breaks today because it's cool out, and if I have it sit for too long, I have a feeling that thing may start to tighten back up again. So here we go. Continuing on upward. Not a bad up, gentle, but it is an up. And for flatlanders that live in the land of Dallas-Fort Worth, any up is a significant up. So we leveled off in our climb and we're right in the middle of a cloud. We had some views earlier below the clouds, but you can see right now, that's nothing but a fog bank out there. Trails level off at this point. That's right. We're making another turn for a switchback and gonna start climbing again. Again, not heavy duty climbs, just undulating.
With the cloud over that mountain way over there.
Yeah, it's a postcard, honey.
It is a postcard.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah, breaking out. We got out of the cloud back there. And this is the view.
And the trees are starting to change in that they're bigger, they're greener, they're lusher.
Yeah,
There's for the first time we've seen I had it just a minute ago. My brain is still not up.
spruce.
I got no coffee this morning.
Yeah, we're gonna get coffee at Blue Lake.
I need
Couple hours.
coffee in a couple of hours. Cedar.
Cedar.
We've seen some cedar.
Yeah.
And they're that bluish, you know, because they're young. Cedar. They're really pretty.
So Kath and I stopped here at Blue Lake for a little coffee and a hot lunch. And as you can see, we got our tent up again because the mosquitoes have just been unbelievable. So nice to have a tent. We got our own little zip up bug net on that tent, so it keeps the bugs out. We actually cooked in there, cooked our meal in there, drank our hot coffee in there, and we took about a 2-hour break here. We've got about a 3-mile hike left here from Blue Lake to Bear Lake. That's where we're going to camp tonight. And all of the lakes seem to have the same mosquito problem, so we're going to be dealing with the same issue we did at Green Lake last night and today here for lunch. So we'll probably be cooking in the tent again tonight. But we're having a blast, having the time of our life. Wish you were with us.
At least the mosquitoes aren't getting me right now.
Yeah, Kath and I were both surrounded by about 4,000 mosquitoes back there when we finally ended lunch and broke down our tent. It was crazy. So we got the heck out of our spot back there. We made our way back to Blue Lake. It actually looks blue.
It's gorgeous.
Kind of surprised. Yeah, green did definitely look green. And blue is very blue. And when we got here, it was all clouded in, those trees that you can see in the background there. Now they've cleared up a little bit. We've actually got some sunshine, which is nice. Hope it stays that way for the rest of the day. So Kath just fell about half-mile back and everything's okay, except we think she might have broken a small bone in the back of her hand. She said she felt like it was sliding around in there a little bit. We still have, after today, we've only got a couple more miles to go now, but after today, we got another 2 days of hiking to get to Trout Lake. And it doesn't look like it's going to be serious enough an issue with her hand to do anything about it until we get to Trout Lake, and then see if we can't find a doctor there. Have him take a look at her, maybe put her in a cast or a splint or whatever you do. It's kind of a weird place to have a break if it's broken. It's right on the back of her hand, right behind the big knuckle on her index finger there, in that part of the hand. And she was able to flex the finger itself, index finger, which indicates it's not a broken finger, but it's that bone or cartilage right behind the finger there. That's the issue. So we just arrived at Junction Lake. The sun is out and shining. Everything looks beautiful. We've got about a mile to go. We got 1 more mile to go to get up to Bear Lake. And the mosquitoes are pretty much constant. So we're anticipating having mosquitoes at the camp tonight. So Kath and I are trapped in our tent once again.
Where are we?
We've got the legion of zombie mosquitoes out there. I don't know whether you can see them all buzzing around up against our bug net. It's a nice thing about this tent, it's got a bug net on it. So those are, yeah, they couldn't get in, but when you get in or out, a few of them always get in the tent and you end up having to kill those individually. So we're going to probably do what we did last night. We're just going to stay in the tent now that we're in. And we're going to eat in here tonight, get up in the morning early, have our breakfast in the tent again, not going to get out. And then we're going to proceed on down the road and have our coffee, or what do we call it, brunch?
Brunch.
Our brunch.
Yeah, there you go.
A little bit later down the road once we get away from all the mosquitoes, because wherever there's water, I think we're right in the peak of the mosquito season.
Yeah, we are, I think.
So
This is ridiculous.
this is ridiculous. We'll talk to you later. So here we are on day 9 of the mosquito-infested lakes area of the Pacific Crest Trail. We're at Bear Lake. You can see the lake back behind. Cass getting her gear ready to go. She's got her bug net on. Broken hand and all. She's a gutsy girl. The beautiful area here, campsite we had was just spectacular. Walk down to the water, they got a little beach area down there. This is by far the largest area that we've actually seen where you can camp in. Most of the campsites are pretty small. We barely got our tent in the one the previous night. So we had all kinds of room here yesterday. Plus we were able to take advantage of some of the sun that came out in the afternoon. So we're getting ready to go, get underway. We're not going to give a morning brief this morning because of the mosquitoes. We're going to try to get out of here as quickly as we can. In fact, we got up at 4 o'clock this morning, had our coffee, and I had my Bobo bar. Kath had her protein bar. I'm going to pack up, try to get out of here. It's 5:30 right now. Get out a little after 6. We're planning a fairly long day if we can do it. We try to get all the way to Steamboat Creek, unless we can catch a ride there at one of the roads we're going to be crossing today. We need to get Kath down to see a doctor with that broken hand. So Kath and I have hiked about 7/10 of a mile along on our hike today. The mosquitoes, we finally got away from the local mosquitoes. See the Pacific Crest Trail sign north and south there. The little sign you can see in the background there going up the hill, that's the Indian Heaven Trail. And probably a good thing we didn't plan on spending the night up here last night.
Yeah, 'cause-
That's at least considering the campsite that we had.
oh yeah, we had a great campsite.
So we're going to proceed on along here. We're doing good this morning. We love the trail conditions so far. You can see that nice sod. It's that forest sod. And it's so easy to walk on. It's like walking on AstroTurf. It's that soft. So what does the PCT look like in this section we're hiking, besides just the snow? You can see the beautiful little wildflowers up here. I don't know what kind of flowers those are, that they look like a Texas star there. Got six spikes on them. Okay, so we actually have some snow that is on the trail here. See where people have walked across it.
It's nice because it's a little bit crunchy. It's not just like that.
So here we are, minding our own business, walking through a thicket of huckleberry bushes. We come around this corner, and that big old mountain you see right there with all the snow on it, that's Mount Adams. And we'll be going right by the base of that on our next leg after we resupply at Trout Lake. We're heading up to White Pass, and the trail takes you right along the base of that mountain right there. Mount Adams. So you can see Mount Adams up there, peeking through the trees. We're coming up on the dirt road that's got a parking area. I see some cars up there. We're gonna see if we can't find somebody who'll take Kath and I to town with a hospital or a clinic or something, a doctor, where we can have her hand looked at and get that taken care of. So we're about a mile and a half from our last chance to get Kath off to have her hand looked at via road. Otherwise we'll have to spend the night, one more night in the wilderness before we get to Trout Lake. The road that's coming up is a paved road. Doesn't show any parking there, so the question is whether or not you can get somebody to just stop as they're driving along and then take you to where you want to go. So Kath and I have reached the paved road we were talking about. It's a beautiful thing. We actually already crossed the road. We're like the chickens, we went to the other side already. But there's the road. We've been here for about, what, 6 or 7 minutes, Kath?
Yeah.
Haven't seen nary a vehicle. Of course, it is a weekday. I bet you on the weekends it's probably pretty busy. So, plan is right now, barring the miraculous appearing of some guy that wants to drive us to Trout Lake tonight, we're going to go on up to Steamboat Creek. And we're going to spend the night there at Steamboat. That's 2.8 miles from here. That'll make a 13-mile day for us. And then tomorrow we'll hike 7.5 miles and we'll get on into Trout Lake a day early, which is pretty good.
Do I hear a car?
I do hear a car. So Kath and I have reached Steamboat Lake, which is our last night in the wilderness. Tomorrow we will be hiking down to Road 23, which is Forest Road 23. And from there, we're going to catch a ride down to the town of Trout Lake. And we're going to have 2 nights down there. We're actually going to be getting into Trout Lake a day early. So we're going to spend 2 nights there. We're going to have a 0 day. And Kath is already, unbelievably, we have phone reception here where we're camped out. So Kath has been able to arrange the reservations for the hotel. And we've got a contact from the hotel, a doctor to call once we get into town. The Kath gets cleaned up. He's going to hopefully be able to check out her hand and maybe do something with it. But if not, there's another town about 20 miles down the road that has one of those clinics that should be able to take care of her. So we're getting ready to have mac and cheese, and then we're going to call it a night. I wanted to share some of the ambiance with you of our beautiful evening here. I don't know whether you can notice, but it started to rain on the lake. You can see the raindrops making those little circles out there. Been watching the fish jump all afternoon. This is an absolutely gorgeous place. And to get here, we put in our longest mileage day so far on the PCT. We hiked 13 miles today. And it was actually it wasn't that difficult because majority of it was mostly downhill. It was undulating, but it was undulating downhill. Beautiful forest pass to hike over. Show you where our water is located here, which is pretty nice. I'm out my side of the tent. Come right down here. This is the outflow from the lake. I think it actually feeds down in the Steamboat Creek down there. But great place to bag water. Brought it up to the tent area there, and that's where I filtered it out. I've got about 4 liters of filtered water sitting there in those 2 platypus containers right there. So we'll be getting up about 5 o'clock tomorrow morning and try to get out of here between 7 and 8. And we should be into Trout Lake, 7.5 miles. We're thinking we're going to be in there sometime between 2 and 3 tomorrow afternoon. All right, check it in. I hope you all are enjoying our videos. We'll see you soon. So, honey, this is the morning update of day 10.
Can't believe it's already been 10 days.
It's unbelievable. And where are we at right now?
We are at Steamboat Lake.
Steamboat Lake, and we're going to where?
We're going to Trout Lake today.
Trout Lake
yeah.
today, yes. We're going to have to get off the trail at the intersection of the PCT and
Road 23.
Yeah, Forest Road 23. And then we can call one of the volunteers, hopefully, to come out and get us when we get there and take us down to where we're staying tonight.
Trout Lake Valley Inn.
And where we're staying tomorrow night.
2 nights.
2 nights at the Trout Lake Valley Inn. We're really looking forward to it. We both stink like a couple of hobos.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to getting ourselves cleaned up. And Kath is hoping to see a doctor while we're there so we can take a look at that broken hand of hers. So 7.5 miles, right?
7.7.
7.7 miles according to GUTHOOK, all the way to Forest Road 23, and that's where we'll get some volunteers to take us up.
We're going to see some rain.
Probably a little
and
cloud
some
rain.
mist.
Yeah, you can see the mist behind us
Yep.
there. And it'll take us between 6 and 7 hours to hike over there. So at 7:38, we'll be in there sometime between 2 and 3 this afternoon.
Yay.
Yay! Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. So here Kath and I are at Forest Service Road 88, which is one of the paved roads the Forest Service uses. The next paved one we see will be Forest Service Road 23, which will be where we will be getting off the trail to contact our volunteer transportation to come up and get us there. It's about 14 miles from where we get off the trail there at Forest Road 23 to the town of Trout Lake. See, Kath has got her bug net on. We were just debating whether we wanted to keep our rain jackets on because it's been sprinkling on and off. Now it's stopped again, I think. And we'll probably keep them on for a while. But from here, for about the next 3 miles or so, we're going to be doing some climbing. Climbing. So you ready to go, honey?
I am.
All right.
I'm going to keep this open
Okay.
so that I can see air.
All right, here we go. It's nice to see this. Hiking along. Not to scramble over any rocks. You got a nice little wooden bridge to walk across. Yeah,
Moving good.
beautiful water source. So here are Kath and I arriving at the little forest meadow. This is beautiful when you come to these open areas like this. We're about 1.8 miles from our pickup point to go into Trout Lake. All right, we're live. So I wanted to go over with you, for those of you that continue watching our video after we got to Forest Road 23, exactly what happened to Kath and what happened to essentially both of us there after we got there to Trout Lake. Because Trout Lake now is a special place in my heart as a town full of trail angels. How about you, Kath?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So do you want to show them what the most recent product looks like?
Well, this is the most recent. Had my surgery.
This is, we're talking to you, so we're taping this on August the 8th of this year. So we've been home just over a month, or just under a month, right?
Right.
Because we got done there on the 10th of July.
Right.
And we left Trout Lake on the 12th.
Yes.
So we got to Trout Lake, or excuse me, we got to Forest Road 23, which is where the video leaves off. And why don't you just pick it up there, Kath, and tell them what happened once we got to Forest Road 23.
Sam had called a trail angel as we were approaching that trailhead. And
Trail angel number 1 was Doug.
right. And he met us at the trailhead. And we piled in into his little truck, and he took us to the hotel, the little inn.
Yeah, the Trout Lake Valley Inn.
Yes, which is where we had made reservations. And I wanted to go there first because we'd been out on the trail for 10 days and I was stinky and dirty and needed to wash my hair and just get cleaned up before I felt like I could go to the doctor's office. So we went there, he took us there and dropped us off, and we got checked in. I was able to get a shower, get cleaned up, and then we walked about a half mile, 3/4 of a mile to the doctor's office, the little clinic there. And he looked at my hand and he said, yeah, he was pretty sure it was broken, that I'd broken a bone there. So, but he...
So Trail Angel number 2 is Dr. Harp.
Yes, and his little clinic doesn't have an x-ray machine, so his wife, Trail Angel number 3, Shanna, drove us about 25 miles down to White Salmon.
White Salmon.
And
Hospital.
they had a little hospital, Skyline Hospital, that has an x-ray machine, so they took x-rays. And then she drove us back up to the clinic in Trout Lake. And sure enough, I had broken a bone. And so he made a splint for my hand and my
Dr.
wrist.
Harp.
Yes, Dr. Harp. And then...
Well, he was making the splint. I went down to the cafe and bought dinner because we hadn't had any lunch that day.
Right.
It's a long day.
It was a long day. So
And
he
brought it back to the clinic.
Yes, and he did good. He got cheeseburgers and French fries and a milkshake.
Yeah, it was good.
It was yummy.
Huckleberry milkshakes there.
Yeah, oh, the huckleberry milkshakes are fabulous. Very, very light flavored and not too sweet, just really good. So we stuffed our faces out on the picnic table in front of the clinic and then walked back to we went over to the general store, which was right across the street.
Check it out, see what they had in the store.
Right, and the people there were very nice, very sweet. And then we walked back to the hotel and went to bed because it had been a very long day.
Long day. All right, so day 2, what happened on day 2,
Day
honey?
2, we woke up and went into the little breakfast area at the inn, and they make sweet potato waffles. Those were so good.
They
So
were
we had
very good.
waffles.
And they have a full, I mean, they had basically a full breakfast. They had
They did.
cereal. They
It was
had,
a breakfast bar, a wait
Bar,
on
yeah.
yourself
Very
kind of
nice.
thing, other than the waffles they make for you and bring them out to you.
yes, very nice.
But it was very, very nice. And then we went back to the room and did a load of laundry.
And their
And-
laundry room facilities there were great.
Right. 2 very nice washers and 2 dryers, and they also have a hot tub over there. We did not take advantage of the hot tub,
No,
but we did a load of laundry, and then the splint was just, it was too tight. It was very uncomfortable, and my hand was swelling pretty badly. And so we walked back to the doctor's office. I called him earlier and he said, yeah, come on in. So I went back over there and he loosened up that splint for me a little bit. Gave me some extra strength Tylenol to take, which I did take a few of those
yeah.
that day and then
Sure.
for several days, just to kind of, because it was
They
throbby.
got pretty
It was
well
pretty
stressed,
throbby.
yes.
Yeah. And we had lunch at the little cafe and went back over to the general store and got a couple of things. I can't remember what we got.
They got a soft drink, I think.
Yeah.
Something.
And then we walked back to the hotel, the inn,
Yeah.
and that has like 8 rooms. So it's
Right.
just a wonderful place.
And we had one of them for
Really
2
nice.
nights.
Yeah.
So it was very nice.
Yeah. And we did another load of laundry and took a nap. And then later on in the afternoon, after we finished the laundry and got up from our nap, we walked back into town and had dinner. We had outside. It was beautiful
Yeah,
evening.
beautiful weather.
Nice little outdoor seating area at the cafe.
I was going to say it was probably about 70 degrees maybe.
Yeah, if
It's
that.
it's 101 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area today, so we're kind of dreaming about
Oh.
70-degree weather here.
Really, being able to sit outside. And there, I had a chicken Caesar salad that was so good, and everything was so fresh there.
Yeah, it was.
Really, really well done.
Of course,
Good
it is
food.
farm country there.
It
so-
is. And our Peppy is saying hi.
Yeah,
He's
he's saying it's
telling us
time
it's
for
about
lunch.
lunchtime.
Yeah.
And so we had our dinner and we walked back to the hotel and went to bed.
Crashed again.
Next morning we woke up.
Backed up.
This is on the 12th.
Right, the 12th.
Got everything packed up. We had breakfast again at the little inn. I had another waffle, really good. And then Doug picked us up. Our trail angel number 1 came back and picked us up and drove us to Hood River, which is, well, first he drove us by the hospital where I could pick up a
X-rays.
CD or a DVD of my x-rays.
Right.
And then he took us to Hood River and dropped us off at the bus stop, which is where bus number 1
Yeah, bus number 1 that day.
that day picked us up and took us to Portland.
Yes. This video would not be complete without 2 recommendations for you. First, that you check out our extensive conversation with the Trout Lake Trail Angel Doug. In it, he tells a story of why he and so many other Trout Lake residents volunteer their time to assist the PCT hikers each hiking season. My second recommendation for you is go to YouTube channel Jackman Films LLC. This is Doug's stepson's channel. On the channel, he has several short videos titled The Trail, in which he documents many of the Trout Lake angels and their interactions with hikers on the PCT. I have included links to both recommendations in the description below. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and this is Sam out.